I'm Sean Stewart with Bringing Down the Band. Here's some hip-hop news or information you might like. Today we're going to talk a little bit about a hip-hop producer who has made a name for himself in the video game industry, Just Blaze. Now, many people know that Just Blaze is a legendary hip-hop producer who has worked with the likes of Jay-Z and Kanye West. But you may not know how involved he is in producing some amazing soundtracks for video games. So let's dive a little bit into Just Blaze's journey from hip-hop to game scoring. Now, early on, Just Blaze, born Justin Smith, got his start in the late 90s producing for Roc-a-fella Records. He quickly became a sought-after producer and worked on many classic albums, including Jay-Z's The Blueprint and The Black Album. Just Blaze's innovative beats and production techniques kind of helped him stand out in a crowded hip-hop scene. Back in 2003, Just Blaze got his first chance to work on a video game soundtrack for EA Sports' NBA Live 2003. He created the original instrumental track for the game's main menu and credits, and he kind of blended hip-hop and electronic sounds to create an energetic and memorable vibe. This was followed by his work on the soundtrack, which I personally know him for, which is NBA Streets Volume 2, which features some of the most well-known video game tracks at the time. I still, to this day, wish that they would drop a game like NBA Streets Volume 2, but that's just me. Just Blaze's involvement in these games helped raise some of the profile of video game music and demonstrated the potential for hip-hop producers to create such soundtracks for games, and since then he's worked on other video game soundtracks, including the critically acclaimed NBA Street Home Court and Def Jam Icon. In this short clip that I'm about to show you from Idea Generation, hosted by 𝗕𝗥𝗓𝗓𝗓, they talked about how Just Blaze got into video game music and why he did.
How do we start to leverage this outside of sitting in a studio 20 hours a day making music, because that's not always going to be feasible. That's what led me to start doing like scoring work, like a bunch of the game scores that I did. It was just, from a financial standpoint, I made more money doing like 1 or 2 games.
Which games did you do?
So I did NBA Street Volume 2, which is widely considered, a classic of that era. I also did NBA Live 2003, which was EA Sports Comeback. And then because I was in the EA Sports ecosystem, I would allow them to relicense things for other titles, so like Madden, MLB, Tiger Woods, etc. Fast forward a bit later, Street Fighter 4, I did all the scoring for the commercials. Same for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Out of the Shadows.
Was that work creatively exciting? Was it a fun challenge?
It was definitely exciting, because it's like, now you're not operating within the confines of bars, hooks, versus it's just how do we take what's happening on screen and amplify it, or make it that much more exciting? How do we allow the visual to inform the audio, right? Because most times you're dealing with music or making records, for the most part, the visual is the last part. In this case, things are being created in tandem. So as they're building the game, I'm watching it, and I'm getting advanced copies of it and, scoring to picture basic. It was definitely a fun exercise, but more importantly, it was my first real exposure to controlling your brand and positioning myself in a medium outside of what I was known for. You can't just do the one thing forever. I can't think of anybody who's done just the one thing forever and been able to make a lifelong career out of it.